Ever wonder what's hiding beneath your feet right now? Spoiler alert, it's way more exciting than you think. And today, we've gathered discoveries so unusual, they'll make you want to start digging up your backyard. Buried deep underground, treasure hunters unearthed a red metal safe that clearly wasn't meant to be found. Inside the heavy box, they discovered packs of money, files, a handgun, along with other personal belongings hidden by the previous owner. The discovery raises more questions than answers. Explorers risked infiltrating an abandoned Italian military base twice to reach what satellite images promised were battle tanks. They discovered massive battle tanks and support vehicles, some with odometers showing just 422 kilometers, periscopes and ammunition racks still intact. One tank's cannon dwarfed World War II-era calibers, but a steel monster is now slowly losing its final war against rust and vegetation. In a high-crime area, divers pulled a heavy bag weighted with 97 kilograms of dumbbells from the icy 7 degrees Celsius water. Inside was a criminal arsenal, a disassembled AR-15, a Tech-9, and a revolver with defaced serial numbers. The shocked team immediately surrendered the 6 weapons to the police. The next finding is in a village field, a Soviet Ka-26 abandoned for 2 years. Only 816 were ever built, and despite sitting exposed to the elements, this one remains surprisingly intact with its iconic coaxial rotors and cockpit still in working order. A dedicated crew believes this Cold War relic can take to the skies once more. In a collapsing garage, this explorer found a dusty 1948 Chevrolet Fleetmaster that hadn't seen daylight in decades. The classic vehicle sat parked with its chrome grille still shining through the grime. Despite years of neglect, finds like these can be worth a small fortune to collectors who dream of breathing new life into automotive history. Metal detecting through an abandoned archaeological village turned into every treasure hunter's wildest dream. Diggers unearthed rings, necklaces, spearheads, and fragments of gold, silver, and copper resembling Dacian artifacts from the 1st century BC. A unique statue-shaped box and silver brooches with plant motifs highlighted the region's ancient cultural significance. Pulled from thick overgrowth, a military reconnaissance vehicle was hidden for years, waiting to be discovered. Restoration enthusiasts dragged this Cold War-era CVRT Armored Scout, a British-made tracked vehicle that could once hit speeds of 80 kilometers an hour. Now, it's getting a full restoration that'll bring this armored beast back to life. Inside an abandoned Soviet bomb shelter, explorers found a working-grade teletype machine, hermetic blast doors, and Rubin 3 radios, all left behind when it was sealed a decade ago. Yet the light was still on for some reason. Recovery teams pulled a 1980s red Firebird from the river, revealing a chilling discovery. A concrete block was found deliberately wedged onto the accelerator pedal, suggesting the car was stolen and sabotaged. Stripped of its VIN and license plates, this steel ghost was clearly meant to vanish forever. Right in waterlogged marshland, diggers recovered World War II-era rifles and ammunition preserved by thick mud for over 75 years. Each piece still bearing original markings from the battles that left them there. Professional explorers made a jaw-dropping discovery deep beneath a busy city. 25 old coal train cars sitting in a mine tunnel now flooded since abandonment. Each cart made countless trips fueling America's industrial growth before rising water and fatal hydrogen sulfide gas sealed them off from the world above. Jerome in Arizona went from bustling mining boomtown to one of America's eeriest ghost towns. Massive brick kilns, industrial furnaces, and strange, oversized machinery from the Gold King mine era still stand across the desert landscape, untouched since operations ceased. Once home to thousands of miners, now only rusting vehicles and hollow buildings occupy this dusty hillscape. This guy just found the skeletal remains of Soviet submarines left on the assembly line right in a derelict naval facility. This old factory serves as a massive tomb for underwater vessels that were canceled before completion. Behind the gates of this old estate, a French gendarmerie officer's entire life was left behind. Explorers entered the abandoned home to find personal belongings, uniforms, documents, and photographs still scattered throughout every room, as if the owner walked out one day and never returned. Military decorations, vintage furniture, and handwritten letters tell a whole story about an officer who once lived here. The level of preservation makes this one of the most complete abandoned houses ever explored. Let's sneak a peek at a private Estonian museum housing legendary Soviet monsters of steel like the T-34 tank and bridge layer MTU-20. Once owned by the late Elhins Tors, this collection sits on an estate once linked to Estonia's first president. Surprisingly, some vehicles remain so functional that visitors can even book a ride. Deep in Utah's desert hides an industrial nightmare straight out of another century. The Sunnyside Coke Ovens, built in 1902 and once the largest in America with over 800 brick kilns, produced 347,000 tons of coke annually by firing coal from Horse Canyon. Abandoned since 1958, explorers can now walk through accessible tunnels past old furnaces. After nearly a century buried in a New Zealand river, a 32-ton locomotive from 1885 was ripped from the mud by a crane, the ultimate time capsule of steam-era engineering. At Kilpyavar Airfield in Russia's Murmansk region, Su-27 fighter jets sit abandoned on the runway since the 9th Guards Fighter Aviation Regiment was disbanded in 2009. Built in 1953, this Cold War base once intercepted NATO reconnaissance flights, including the famous 1987 incident. Now, decommissioned jets that outlived their service life slowly decay where they last parked. These guys crossed a busy shipping lane in a cheap Facebook boat to reach No Man's Fort, a Victorian sea fortress turned into a $4 million hotel. They discovered an abandoned luxury palace filled with antiques and fancy apartments, and despite the decay, this massive steel island remains an incredible time capsule of maritime history. Inside a factory hall, explorers found a massive tunnel boring machine built for metro construction. Over 6 meters wide, 35 meters long, 400 tons heavy, and never used once. Kayakers in open water encountered a mysterious submarine from above, raising questions about how this vessel ended up here and what's its story. Step inside a secret hangar where Soviet wings wait for the sky. Explorers in Lithuania uncovered an abandoned aviation hub containing disassembled helicopters, gliders, and 1982 archives. But not everything here is deserted. Some aircraft show signs of active restoration, and motion sensors plus a van with 460,000 kilometers prove someone still quietly visits. These guys discovered Iraq's forgotten rail yards with hundreds of rusting locomotives which once fueled the nation's economy before being abandoned to time. Passers-by spotted a random 45-seater Hyundai bus, a bus that was completely buried in off-road mud. Dirt and weeds have already invaded the interior and even the engine of this stuck giant. It was a submerged boat that became an underground boat. This 1957 Soviet B-73 was used to test the first nuclear ballistic missiles launched from underwater, and now it floods daily, revealing decaying machinery during low tide as people walk unknowingly above this historic missile testing relic. On a Lagos highway sits a Fokker 28 that was supposed to serve meals, not rust in the rain. Brought to Lekki-Epe Expressway years ago for conversion into a restaurant, the project collapsed and left this jet stranded on Nigerian soil. Now, the fuselage deteriorates under tropical downpours while vegetation slowly consumes the landing gear and wings. These guys entered the so-called gates to hell for a final look at this legendary abandoned coal mine. Amid dangerous bad air, professionals discovered a hidden underground hospital featuring fine woodwork. This farewell visit captures the industrial majesty of a site that may soon be lost to time forever. This metal detectorist unearthed a sharp, beautifully preserved blade alongside a rare military buckle with intact leather. Found just 5 meters from a cavalry saber, this World War I-era gear likely belonged to a dragoon or a pilot. While shell fragments and rusty coins also appeared, the stunning porcelain-inlaid pommel remains the ultimate prize. Recovery teams pulled 2 rare World War II vehicles, an SDKFZ-250 and an SDKFZ-7 tractor, from the muck. Using heavy cranes and an amphibious vehicle, they spent 3 days desludging the site, and surprisingly, the 250 is in such great condition that they aim to restore it to full working order. A regular barn find revealed a police cruiser with its light bar buried under an old shack for years, and the lucky discoverer immediately turned it into his most ambitious restoration project yet. This Volkswagen enthusiast tracked down a rare Swedish snow track, one of only 2,265 made, powered by a Volkswagen Beetle engine, dead for 5 years, but with massive rubber tracks built to conquer deep snow and even Antarctic expeditions. After 74 years on a lake bottom, the Bf-109G2 was pulled from the water, still wearing traces of Luftwaffe winter camouflage from when its pilot belly landed on frozen ice in 1944. Recovery teams salvaged massive gold ingots from the shipwrecked SS Central America. This legendary haul included ingot number 4,244, revealing a fortune hidden deep underwater. Now, let's head back to 1997, where crews salvaged the sunken Project 670 Skat nuclear submarine off Kamchatka. This operation discovered a whole Soviet vessel on the ocean floor. Near Nevada's ghost town, this old bus sits alongside a Toyota wagon and a miner's cabin, all packed with personal belongings. Sadly, the hospital papers, a checkbook, and dog fur suggest an elderly, off-grid prospector lived here until 2019 before leaving due to possible health problems. And now, flash floods threaten to erase his last place of residence forever. This grainy footage shows helicopters transporting a mysterious saucer-shaped object. Is this a secret military craft or an actual UFO? In a Russian forest was found a mysterious 18-meter fiberglass sphere, believed to be a Cold War radar dome dropped from a helicopter when its cable snapped mid-transport. Now, venture into a field of decaying giants. This UK graveyard is packed with rusting excavators, telehandlers, and tractors slowly being reclaimed by nature. Explorers unearthed a strange, saucer-shaped object buried deep in the woods. Is it a petrified ancient UFO or just a bizarre machine? What's your take? During a walk, hikers stumbled upon a classic military truck forgotten in the woods. And after long service, this beast has been reclaimed by nature for decades. A kayaker faced the SS Selma, a massive historical oil tanker. Launched the day World War I ended, this military beast never saw combat and worked as a civilian vessel until its last day. This driver stopped for UFOs by the road only to find quirky cafe decorations. Or maybe they're just hungry intergalactic tourists grabbing a bite. Jackpot at sea. A search team pulled a lost shipping container from the waves, only to find it stuffed with a fortune in brand new iPhones. This fishing vessel was finally pulled from the Atlantic Ocean after a year. The 23-meter Susan Rose sank in 2023 and was recovered just off the New Jersey coast. What looks like a mysterious hut in the middle of the woods is actually Indiana University's Night Ridge Observatory, built in 1936. This abandoned brick dome once housed a powerful telescope for scanning the night sky, but a fallen tree smashed through the rotating dome's shutter, letting nature creep inside the building. This dump truck was retrieved from the bottom looking like a swamp creature, caked in mud so thick you'd never guess what color it used to be. Inside the RAF base in the UK, explorers hiked for hours through marshland to reach a secret practice airfield packed with Cold War relics. Among the finds, a Soviet Su-22M fighter bomber with mock torpedoes still attached, French Dassault Mystère 4 jets, American T-33 shooting stars, and a remarkably intact Mi-24 Hind attack helicopter with its cockpit still padlocked shut. Crumbling skeletons of old ships and a lone vessel stranded on sand. That's what beachgoers find instead of seagulls on this stranded beach. Nearly a century old and still standing, this 1927 engine was discovered untouched, a mechanical relic from an era when machines were built to outlast generations. Imagine digging in the mud and hitting the handlebars of a complete motorcycle. These guys unearthed a 1985 dirt bike that had been buried underground for decades. Remarkably, the frame and engine were largely intact, sparking a restoration project to make this zombie bike ride again. From the sky, it looks like a parking lot for giants, but this is the famous Mojave Aircraft Graveyard. Dozens of massive Boeing 747s and commercial airliners sit lined up in the desert, stripped of their engines and valuable electronics. The dry desert air preserves these aluminum giants, which wait to be scrapped or cannibalized for parts. Bunker Valentin near Bremen is Germany's largest freestanding bunker, stretching 426 meters long with walls 4.5 meters thick. Built by over 10,000 workers between 1943 and 45, it was designed to assemble Type XXI U-boats on a massive production line. But that didn't happen, as Allied bombers penetrated the 7-meter roof in March 1945, and not a single submarine was ever built inside. Beneath the surface, a mysterious disc-shaped object was captured in the water looking exactly like a submerged flying saucer, but its true origin remains unknown. Here was uncovered a Soviet Su-17 variable sweep-wing fighter jet inside a forgotten aircraft maintenance facility. Its 19-meter fuselage is still wearing faded camouflage paint. A classic 1958 Austin A40 Farina was discovered sleeping in a collapsing wooden barn. This time capsule car had been parked and untouched for 43 years, covered under the roots. Trekkers in the dense Cambodian jungle fought through vegetation to find the shattered remains of a plane crash. The twisted fuselage lies exactly where it fell, consumed by the rainforest. Check out a crumbling UK train depot, where was discovered vintage railway carriages spanning decades, including a 1960s Mark I first-class car with private booths, ornate fixtures, and elegance that puts modern trains to shame. A fully equipped buffet car still had its compact kitchen, but sitting beside active rail lines, this time capsule may not survive much longer. Its prime location makes demolition more likely than restoration. A hiker exploring off-trail discovered the abandoned aircraft hidden in the undergrowth. The aluminum body is surprisingly intact, looking like it made an emergency landing between the trees. While metal detecting in the woods, a researcher dug up a rusted rifle. The wooden stock had rotted away, and the metal barrel and mechanism were so worn down by time that it was unrecognizable. Welcome to the New Mexico desert, where hundreds of commercial jets sit baking in the sun at the Roswell Industrial Air Center. These retired planes are stored here because the dry climate prevents them from rusting. This is the ultimate ghost town, the abandoned city of Pripyat, frozen in 1986 after the Chernobyl disaster. Explorers walked through the iconic amusement park where the yellow Ferris wheel still stands, never having carried a single paying passenger. Apartment blocks remain filled with furniture and toys in a chilling snapshot of the moment 50,000 people fled for their lives. Deep in the woods, someone stumbled upon a graveyard of classic cars from the mid-20th century. Dozens of vehicles, including vintage Fords and Chevys, sit rusting away with trees growing right through their engine bays. It's a pity that so many valuable cars were left behind in the forest and can't be revived. The next find is from 1952, an underground cheese cellar. Explorers descended into the dark corridors to find original wooden aging racks still standing alongside rusted equipment and collapsed ceiling sections. The air still carries a faint musty scent, or maybe it's a 100-year-old smell of the thousands of cheese wheels that once ripened here. This UK car graveyard holds dozens of classics, from a rare Model T Ford to a manual Rover 2000 1930s coupes with just 49,000 miles, and Austin Cambridges with hand-finished steel trim. But the keys still dangle from the ignition, a sign that whoever owned this collection simply walked away, leaving an entire era of history to slowly fade away. And that wraps up today's treasure hunt. What was the best find you ever made? Tell us in the comments. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss our next adventure. Catch you in the next video.